Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about RTXGI. That is one of Nvidia's new technology for real-time ray tracing. And what it does is it does global illumination in real time without tanking your performance. If you've seen my other video on real-time ray tracing, you'll see that the performance kind of takes a hit once I turn it on, because of all the samples that you have to add and because of the technology that it actually uses. It requires a really high-end equipment, so it is very limiting. With RTXGI, it takes care of that, because the way that it does it is by using probes that cast thousands of rays accelerated by the GPU, and it creates ambient light in real time without having to hog all your resources in your computer. So let's look at what this is. Now right here, I have a very simple scene with no global illumination whatsoever. And by that, I mean what's lit is because of this spotlight that I have right here. And you don't see any bounce light on this shadow casting part. You don't see any bounce light here on the shadows. And you don't see any light bouncing off these walls, because technically if this was an actual realistic scene, the light will bounce off this wall and it will hit these two parts and it will make this a little bit red. That's not happening right now, so that means that I don't have any global illumination. Now, the way that you enable global illumination right now, if you have seen my other video, is by using post-processing. So in here, my post-processing volume, I can go down here into ray trace global illumination, and I have two choices: brute force and final gather. Let's try final gather, because brute force, it's really tough on the equipment, especially when I'm recording. So I'm just going to do final gather, and you can see how that instantly changed. I got this area more illuminated, and if I go around here, you can see that the red is actually bouncing off this wall, and you can see there's a little bit of green right here, but you can see that this is pretty noisy. So for that noise to go away, I'll have to pretty much go all the way up and wait for the noise to calm down, or maybe create a little bit more of an artificial light. Now we have the second choice, which is brute force. Now let me reset this. Which brute force is a lot more accurate. You can decide the amount of bounces that you want, and that can help out clean up the scene. And let's do 16, and you can see that this got a lot better, but this is very choppy. Now I'm just gonna get out of here, disable this, and now we're going to use the new technology, which is this volume right here called Ddgi Volume. So right now this is actually on the scene. I have the game mode activated, that's why you don't see it, but it's right now, it's this guy right here. It's actually a volume like your light mass importance volume that you put on your scene on whatever you want to have this global illumination. And right now I have it turned it off by code. So if I want to bring the command prompt here, I'm pressing the key that's right next to the number 1. It's called the tilde key. And I get this command prompt down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type Ddgi, and here are the commands that I can use. So I'm going to select this command, and I'm going to turn real-time ray tracing with RTXGI on by hitting number 1, because it's a Boolean value. You're gonna instantly see what happens. There you go. So you can see that I got much better lighting. There's still a little bit of noise that could be taken care of by adding a little bit more light, or by increasing the amount of light that I'm putting out with this. So let's just increase that. But as you can see, the scene is excellent. The performance is amazing. There is no noticeable noise like there was with final gather, and I'm still getting my bounce lights over here, around here, and everywhere. So this is a great solution. And what I want to do in this video is I want to show you the whole process and the mistakes and the problems that you may run into, which I did, so you guys don't get as frustrated as I did when I was installing this, because it is a lot. But once you do it, it's really cool. And probably in the next videos, I'll be using this technology. I'll let you know if I'm using this or if I'm using a regular version of Unreal. All right, now we're gonna get right into this. Before that, remember, if you want to support me, you can leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and ring that bell for notification. That really helps me out all the time. All right, now here we are, and I'm going to be leaving links of all of this in the description below, so make sure that you check that out so you can do all these steps. The first step will be to do the Nvidia Unreal Engine branch build. The thing is, you can do it with the Epix Games build, so if you have your regular Unreal Engine build, you can do this. That being said, I did it with this in case there was anything extra. I haven't found anything extra, but the good thing about downloading the Nvidia branch is that you don't have to touch your version of Unreal. That way, if something goes wrong with this version, you just delete it and start over, and you didn't do anything to your Epix Games Unreal Engine install. If you want a hassle-free install in case something goes wrong, I highly recommend downloading the Unreal Engine branch of Nvidia. So for that, you have to go to the website of Nvidia developers, which I'm going to link below. Then you have to follow the instructions on how to do the GitHub link, which is not that bad. If you have an Epic account, all you have to do is go into GitHub, join GitHub if you haven't already. If you're a programmer, I'd say 99.99999% of the time you already have a GitHub account, so that's good. And all you have to do is link both your Epic and your GitHub account, and you'll be good to go. The thing is, if you go into this website, you're going to receive this 404 if you have not linked your GitHub account. The reason why I'm receiving this 404 is because I signed off of my account, so I can show you this. So if you don't have your GitHub link with Epic, this is what's going to happen. That's why that step is so important. Now, once you have done that, you'll be able to access that part of Unreal. So if I go into the RTX part of Unreal, which is this one right here, I'll be able to download the whole Nvidia branch for Unreal Engine. And all you have to do, if you've never used GitHub, I'm not a programmer, I don't know how to use GitHub. Probably some other programmers are going to laugh at me for the mistakes that I'm going to make here, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go here into this tab, and over here you're going to have a download zip. You're going to click that, and that zip is going to download everything else that's in here, pretty much downloading the Nvidia branch of Unreal. And right here you got a bunch of instructions. Don't be confused by some of these instructions on DLSS. Unfortunately, the DLSS, it's hard locked into an invitation program. I already sent the request to get in. I didn't get invited yet. I read in the forums that one of the reasons is because you may not have a corporate email or an education email. My business email is just a regular Gmail account that I use for my clients, which I don't need a company email because I'm not gonna spend money on that just for this. So if you want, you can request access to Nvidia doing all these steps. I don't think what's gonna happen. I still haven't been accepted after a couple weeks. So do with this as you will, but I'm not going to be following these steps because we're not gonna be using DLSS. We're just going to be using the Unreal Engine branch as an Unreal build. All right. Now, once you've downloaded that into a zip, the next thing that you need to download for the RTXGI to work is the actual RTXGI. So right here, I'm going to leave this link in the description so you can go here. Now in this website, what you're going to do is you're going to click on get started, and it's going to ask you again to create another account. So you need a developer account with Nvidia. So if you already have one, you click on join now. If you don't, then you have to create one. Once you have your account, you're going to fill out a form that looks like this. So I'm not going to submit this form because it says here you already submitted and I already been accepted. So all you have to do is answer these questions. There is no answer that I can tell you like these are the correct answers, because there is none. You just answer to the best of your abilities, truthfully, of what are these. And once you're done with that, just hit submit, and probably in a day or two, you'll be able to get access to this right here. Okay. Before that, you probably won't be able to get access to this. They're going to send you an email telling you like, hey, you got access, now you can enter that. So once you have that, this is the same way that we did with the Nvidia branch. You just click right here and you download the folder, and that is where you're going to have your RTXGI. Okay. Now the last thing that you need to download for this to work is Visual Studio. If you've been working with Unreal for a while, if you've been working with Unity, you most likely have Visual Studio installed. There's a couple of things that we need to take care of, but if you haven't, I'm going to leave this in the description. So you can just download the community version. You don't need professional or enterprise. The community version will suffice. You just click free download, and that's going to download the installer for you. All right, so what we have here is the Visual Studio installer. If you've already installed Visual Studio, you have to go here in more and modify. If not, if you're installing a brand new version of Visual Studio and you never installed on your computer, just click next until you get to this page, which should look like this. So when you're here, there's a couple of things that you need to tick. So make sure you check all of these that I have checked. So next, desktop development with C++, because C++ is the code for Unreal Engine. Game development with C++, make sure you have that checked also. Now this, you have to make sure you have all of these installed. So some of them you will have checked by default. Some of them you'll have to check yourself. Just make sure that you have this. I'm giving you time so you can read this. And if you want, pause the video right here. Make sure that you check all that I have checked right here, because when I was doing the build of Unreal that we'll be doing later, it kept giving me an error, and the error was signaling to one of these packs right here. I think it was one of these ones, these two, the targeting pack. So because I didn't check it, and it doesn't check it by default. So make sure you have all of these checked, otherwise it's going to give you an error later. Make sure you also check Unreal Development over here when it allows you to select that tab. All right, now once you have done all that, here comes a little bit of the painful / have patience part, because you're going to click on Setup. So this is the Setup Windows batch file. Double click here, and it's going to pop up a command prompt, and it's going to start downloading all the things that you need for Unreal. If you didn't notice, this folder is actually very small compared to your installation of Unreal regularly. So what this does is it will download whatever else files it needs. After that, once it's all done, all you need to do is click here on Generate Project Files. And this is when I got the first error of that .NET targeting packs that I just showed you when I was in the Visual Studio installer. It kept giving me that error every time I double click in this one. So make sure you have all that checked out. Once you have that, this should just pop up a command prompt and say that's installing. And once it's done, it just goes away, and you'll see this Ue4.sln. This wasn't here before. This file is crucial because without it, we cannot do our build. And also the reason why we have this icon right here means we have all the correct things we need from Visual Studio. So now I'm going to double click. Now, because I already done this before, it's not showing me any message. The first time you do this, it'll probably prompt you with a message that says, are you sure you want to run this? Make sure that you're doing it from a secure location and whatnot. Just hit yes, you're fine. This is a secure version. And once you're done that, make sure that also you are developing here in Windows 64. I'm pretty sure that everyone using Unreal nowadays is on Windows 64. And all you have to do is go here into Ue4, right click, and click on Build. Once you do that, it's going to start scrolling, and it's going to start showing progress right here. It's going to say build right here, and you are going to let it go. This is going to take probably hours depending on your CPU. If you have a Threadripper, probably take a lot less than it took me. But just so you know, this will take a little bit to do. I would not recommend doing any other tasks in your PC while this is going, because this takes a lot of CPU work and you may crash your program. So just let it be. If you want to let this go overnight, and it should be fine. So once at the end it says success, you are good to go. Okay, now that we're back here, what you need to do is go into the Ue4 plugin. Actually, if you were to go into the documents, if you want to read a little bit more, you would go here into index. Now, all you need from here is to go into Unreal plugin, and this will take you into a couple of things that you need to know and how to apply the RTXGI. So everything that I'm going to talk about is exactly what it says right here. Now I'm back into my folder, the RTXGI main. Now what you want to see is Ue4 Plugins. This is where we're going to go. You're going to see two files. These two files, one is for the Nvidia branch which we just downloaded, and the other one is for the quote-unquote vanilla version of Unreal Engine. That means the ones that you download from Epic Games. This whole process can be done with that, so you can use this patch if you wanted to. I am, however, going to be choosing this one, and I recommend that you do the Unreal Engine branch so you don't have any problems. So for that, we'll be copying this, so Control-C. All right, so here is where I decompressed all the files from the Nvidia branch that we just downloaded out of GitHub. And I would highly recommend that you do it to a very short path. You're gonna see that when you are uncompressing it writes the whole Nvidia, whatever, and it comes in a folder within another folder, which will make that file path too long. And if you don't choose a small path, then you might get an error while decompressing saying this path is too long and it's not going to uncompress all the files. So make sure you take care of this. And once that's done, the next thing you need to do is, like I already did, is paste your RTXGI patch here. Now, this isn't done yet. What we need to do is we actually need to apply this patch. Copying and pasting doesn't solve anything. So once you've copy and paste this patch, we need to go into a command prompt. Now in this command prompt, this is regular. Just hit your Windows key or your search bar on your Windows machine and just type CMD, and this will come up. All you have to do here is type the letter of the drive you want to access. So I'm just going to do F:. It's going to take me there. Now, after that, I'm going to type CD, and I'm going to copy and paste this right here, and it's going to take me right into the folder that I'm at. Now, all you have to do here is type Git Apply, and I already copied the name of the patch, and I'm going to Control-V and paste it here, .patch. And it should give you a little bit of text. And right now you're seeing that I have a bunch of errors. And the main error that I want you to see here is this already exists. So this is why it's giving me these. I already installed this. You should not get this error. You should get a little bit of text saying that it installed everything and you should be good to go. All right. And after all of that, let me tell you that we're not done yet. So we still need to do a couple of things. Now that you have applied the patch, we need to build the engine again. I know that sounds really painful, but it's actually not. Once you build the engine once, the second time it builds, it takes like 5 minutes because it already has files in the memory. So the second build will be super fast, so don't worry about that one. But you do need to build the engine a second time. Now, once you have built the engine a second time, you have to go here into Engine Binaries. You're going to look for Win64, and if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to find UE Editor. You're going to see that I already made a shortcut, which I have on my desktop. This is the UE Editor that you are going to be running if you're running the Nvidia version of Unreal Engine, especially if you install the GI here. If you install the RTXGI to the Nvidia branch, you are not going to be able to access that plugin on your regular Epic Games built off the Unreal Engine. All right, so here I am. I double click the Ue4 editor. And you're gonna get this just like when you launch the engine from the Epic's launcher. Just select games, one blank file, and you should be fine. I'm just going to open my project right here. And again, any project that you make with this one, I do not suggest that you open with the other version because there might be some conflicts in there. Now, the very first time you open your project with the Nvidia branch is going to take a while as well. Just be patient with it. Then the subsequent times that you open your editor, it goes really quickly. The next thing that you need in order to activate this is go into your settings, plugins, and just go here and type Nvidia. And you're gonna see that it says Nvidia Rtx Gi Plugin. This is your signal that you successfully installed the RTXGI. So all you have to do is enable it, and it's going to prompt you to restart your engine. Say yes, get out of there, and you are good to go. Now I'm just going to load that level back again. All you need for the RTXGI is the Ddgi Volume. That's all you need to do right here. And if I go here into place actors and I type Ddgi, you see that this is what comes up. It's this little volume right here, and everything that's within the volume, just like the light mass importance volume, is what's going to be affected by the GI. And what you saw me doing in the beginning is just me turning it on and off. You don't have to do that. It should be on by default. So as soon as you bring in the volume into your level, it should be functioning correctly right out of the box. And once you've done all those steps, you can enjoy your real-time global illumination that now it takes absolutely no time and it doesn't tank your performance. All right, everybody, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave me a comment. Let me know how it went. If you have any questions, you know that I'm usually answering all my comments as best as I can. And let me know what are your plans for this. If you got it functioning, how do you plan to use this? Do you plan to start making a game? Do you plan to make some cinematics with this? Let me know down in the comments below how you're going to be using this, and I'll see you in the next video.